Okay, so I think I'm live. Sometimes technology is hard to figure out what's going on. But I'm happy you're here. And I just wanted to share with you some inspirations and thoughts that I've had since coming back from the desert and coming back from a week of festivals and connecting with people and really being disconnected from all of this social media, email, basically anything. I was just really in the moment with people I loved around me and exploring the world. And I really came away with some deep insights about what's important to me and why I do what I do and why I think that's important in the world. So I want to just take a few minutes and share those with you today, because I believe it's important for us to share why we do what we do and why it matters in the world, because we could be doing anything. Small business owners, we could literally do anything. I could open up a bar tomorrow, or I could sell tchotchkes out of the back of my car that I don't own. But I'm choosing to do communications and choosing to help business owners, maybe like you, if you're a business owner, to communicate better. And that's really important to me. So I want to share with you why I do that today. And I've got a little script because it's important for me to actually hit some points with you and share why I'm talking to you today. So really, all of this started a couple weeks ago. I went to an event called HustleCon. You may be familiar with the email newsletter, The Hustle. It comes out every day, and it's just a fantastic newsletter that shares all the goings on in the world in a very, very funny, well-written way. And so that's the way I get a lot of my news, especially business news. And they throw some conferences a couple times a year. They throw ConCon in the fall, and then they throw HustleCon in the spring. And so I went a couple weeks ago, and I ended up hearing James Freeman, the founder of the iconic Oakland coffee brand Blue Bottle, speak. And what he said really resonated with me. He said that, from the beginning when he was building his brand, he really decided that adding value was, in fact, subtractive. So, in other words, it's not about saying all of the value that you bring and really naming all the things and listing 10 reasons why your coffee is better than the next person's coffee. But for him, it was about taking things away, and then what remained behind was important, was the truth for him and for his brand. And he's really proven that to be a fantastic recipe for his company, because he has, I can't remember the numbers now. I just wrote an article about it, but I believe it's something like over 20 locations in the Bay Area alone, many locations in New York area, 8 locations in Japan. So he's really built a business that stands behind these values of less is more and how adding value is subtractive. And one story he told when he was on the podium at HustleCon was about how he went to this, at the beginning of the brand, he went to this kind of like branding meeting, and he was supposed to have his vision statement ready, his mission statement ready. And he was walking to the meeting, and he was just like, I don't know what it is. He didn't have it clear in his mind. But he said what was clear to him that kept coming up over and over again were 3 words. And those 3 words were delicious, hospitable, and sustainable. So he was really able to distill down what he was offering into these 3 words. And notice one of those words is not coffee. It's not like, for example, dark roast or light roast, He's talking about the experience that the customer has when they drink the coffee, and even the feeling that they have, like they're feeling like they're in a hospitable environment. So he is creating hospitality that makes people want to drink the coffee. So in a way, it's not about the coffee at all. I mean, it is, but that is almost a secondary, point that he's making. So adding value is subtractive. What is left behind remains. And it's even more important today because of our short attention spans, right? Apparently we have an attention span of about 8 seconds. And 8 seconds is less than a goldfish. So we're darting around from thing to thing. We're deciding what is important in the moment. And if something doesn't hold our attention, we're going to go somewhere else. It's human nature. It does have a lot to say about the world we live in today and how we're consuming content and how we're interacting with the world. And it is just a part of human nature. So today I want to share some ideas that are important to me and trends that I've noticed in the work that I do, helping business owners communicate what they do. And these trends say a lot about culture, and understanding them is really crucial to marketing your business. So I want to share some of those things with you today. So first of all, I would just want to talk about what is short attention span theater. Well, the average attention span, like I said, is about 8 seconds, right? There is also, they say there's 3 to 5 seconds when someone lands on your landing page of your website, the very first page, 3 to 5 seconds to get their attention before they're somewhere else. Either they're on a different page or they're scrolling around somewhere else on your website trying to find information, right? We are the internet generation. We are scanning for information all the time. We're no longer reading these blocks of text anymore. So these are huge changes that we've had in our culture. And another thing that's interesting, I found this statistic this morning. I've gone to a lot of films recently, and I've seen that the shot length of in any film has really decreased over time. I don't know if you've noticed that too, but I remember growing up in the 80s and watching a film and having kind of like long shots and then another long shot and another long shot. At the time, they didn't feel like long shots, but now if I watch those films, it's a little bit of work to kind of put myself, like get in the attention and watch that shot for its duration. So this statistic is interesting. The average shot length of English films has tremendously decreased from 12 seconds in 1930 to about 2.5 seconds today. So really, like, shot length is going down, attention span is going down. So what is this telling us? Well, it's telling us that our 2018 culture really values getting to the point, right? Really getting to the point. And what does this mean for communication? And what does it mean for business? Well, I'm interested in these questions because I'm really fascinated by how the way we choose to communicate shapes our reality and our experience of the world. And let me give you an example about that. It's a personal example. So, I was at a party a couple weeks ago and I met this guy and he was, interesting and cute, and we had a nice rapport, and I liked him immediately. I thought, oh, I like this guy, and he asked me for my phone number. I gave it to him, and a couple days later he reached out in a text and he says, "Hey, how are you?" And immediately I was just like what? How do you answer that in a text? Like, what am I gonna, write a long paragraph about the last few weeks of my life? It's just like, it felt like the wrong question to ask. Is that really what you want to know? I don't think it's what you want to know. What I wanted him to say was, "Hey, I really loved meeting you and chatting with you the other night, and I'd like to get to know you better. Join me for a drink?" Right? I mean, that to me would feel like, yes, I would say yes to that because it's open and it's clear and it's direct. And to me, that's a full yes. I mean, I already liked him or I wouldn't have given him my number. But now that he was kind of beating around the bush and not really asking what he wanted to ask, I mean, I'm assuming he wanted to ask me out, but if not, why was he texting me? You know, so anyway, you can read into it how you want. This was my experience of it. But basically, my point is that we don't have time to beat around the bush these days. And I'm not saying that that is a, you know, it's like a negative thing about our culture right now. I actually think that this is a real gift for us because it really forces us to get to the point and not waste our own time or not waste anyone else's time. And I'm going to say more about that in a second. But what I want to talk about is, what does this mean for business, right? I mean, I help my clients get to the point all the time. That's what I do. And there are questions that I want to ask you about this. I mean, questions I ask my clients that we work with together, but I'll give you some of them now to think about. Basically, number one, what are you offering, right? Number two, how is it better and different than all the other people offering the same thing? Now, maybe you have invented this thing that nobody else is doing. And if so, awesome, like way easy for you to show how you're different. But I would say 99% of the businesses out there, they are offering something, a product or a service that other people are offering as well. Just like me, I offer something that other consultants are offering. So how do you do it different and better than other people, right? And you actually have to say that. You can't just assume that people are going to know. So how are you offering this thing in a different way? What's the value you're bringing? That's connected to the previous question. And then finally, how can you express that in as few words as possible? And that's where it starts to get a little tricky. That's where kind of the poetry of communication and directness comes in. So if you had to boil down what you offer into 3 words, what would those words be? So James Freeman of Blue Bottle Coffee said, delicious, and I'm going to look back and make sure I don't mess this up, delicious, hospitable, and sustainable, right? For me and for my business, those 3 words would be clarity, energy, and fun, right? Clarity, energy, and fun, because I really believe that marketing is like getting everyone to come to your party, right? Marketing is hard work. It's like constantly fluffing the energy around your business every day, fluffing it to get people to look, pay attention, and come to your party. And I really believe that it can be fun, and it should be fun because it's a lot of work. So if something is a lot of work, I don't have kids. I've heard that kids are really fun to have. They look like a lot of work to me, but I believe that it's probably both, right? They're a lot of work and they're a lot of fun. And if you don't have one of those components, then either it's not going to be fun, which who wants that, or it's going to be kind of trite. It's like, oh, it's too much fun. So you're not really getting any depth there. Okay, I've kind of gone off on a tangent. Let me get back to my script. So I believe that marketing is like getting everyone to come to your party. You've got to be clear in the invitation, right? What do you want them to do? What are you asking them to do? You've got to add personality and a little bit of sass, and you've got to enjoy doing it, right? You got to enjoy doing it. So just like this guy that sent me this text, you know, how are you? He wasn't clear in his invitation. There was no personality. It was like the standard question that everybody asks. And then I don't know, it didn't feel like he was enjoying it at all. I didn't get a sense that he was having fun communicating with me. Therefore, I'm like not interested anymore. Sorry, not sorry. So what are your 3 words? I'm curious. How do they guide your business? Because if you don't know what your 3 words are, your guiding principles, then your customer doesn't know, and they'll really go somewhere else because they need to be told what you're about. They can kind of guess, but they need to be told. And also they need to rest in the comfort that you know what you're all about. That's super important. I'm just going to check the Facebook feed really clearly here and see if I'm getting any comments. I'm not sure how to do that, so I'm going to keep talking. So short attention span theater, it does have negative connotations, but I really see it as a gift. Like I said, we are forced to get to the point. So we're forced to say what we mean. We're forced to express our hearts, right? And we're forced to ask what we want, which means that we need to know what we want, which is sometimes a tall order. So being forced to get to the point in this age of the short attention span is really a gift. And we need to take advantage of that gift, and we need to mine it to really grow ourselves as people and as business owners. I mean, they go hand in hand, right? So really, I see all of this, all of these questions, and then communicating all that in as few words as possible. I see that as a fast track to truth, right? Who are you? What do you want? And how are you expressing your heart, right? Both personally and through your business, because it's the same thing. It's a fast track to truth. And I'm excited about the possibilities that this offers us, because it really allows us to know ourselves and each other better. And really, I mean, what are we doing on this planet if not trying to know ourselves and each other better? I don't really know why we're here. Do you know why we're here? I don't know. I wish I could see the comments right now, because if you know, I want to know. Anyway, knowing ourselves better, knowing each other better, communicating that in a clear way, and helping people. Your product or service helps people, right? So the better and the more clear you communicate that, the more people you're going to help. End of story, right? So I wanted to share that with you today. I'm going to talk more about it tomorrow at the same time, 11 o'clock tomorrow on Facebook Live. And so tune in, because and hopefully at that point, I want to get to a point where I can see your comments, so I know we can have a conversation. And then also on Thursday, I'm hosting a webinar which starts to talk about how you can get clearer with your message in your business. It's called 3 Marketing Mistakes Business Owners Make and How to Avoid Them. And it talks about all of this, and it gives you really actionable steps to how to clarify your message and really connect with more people, because that's what marketing really is all about. It's about getting people to come to your party and then connecting with them, basically. So that's Thursday from 11 to 12 also. And I'm going to drop the link in the feed so you can register if you'd like to come to the webinar. And I'm dropping it in now. Okay. And yeah, so I just want to leave you with this, this thought of clear communication and really getting clear about what you want, what you're offering, how it's different, and how you can say that in as few words as possible to connect with people as quickly as possible who are really distracted by a ton of other things. Because that's just the way it is. There's no point in lamenting, oh, the state of our culture and blah, blah, blah. It's just the way it is. And we're blessed to have so much content and so much going around that we can engage with. So it's making us be more clear. It's making us speak our truth more than ever. And I think it's an exciting time. So tune in again tomorrow at 11 on Facebook Live here, and we'll continue the conversation. And then Thursday, of course, again, 11 to 12, I'll be hosting a webinar on the same content and teaching you how to get clear on your message for your business. All right. Thanks, everyone. And I will see you soon. Okay. Bye.